Hi everyone, it's N8N here and I hope you are having an amazing day. In this lecture, we are going to build a sales call preparation agent that will research and prospect about the person who has just booked meeting with you. It's a really lovely workflow and I use it inside my agency. As they say, it is kind of a baby only a mother can love. So I will just stop right now and show you the demo of what we are going to build in this lecture. So this is our sales call preparation agent. We have our main agent and we are categorizing into 3 different sub workflows, 1, 2 and 3. Alright, so let's say once someone book an appointment with you and we are simply collecting their name and email address. In this example, I am using Suprava. So once they confirm and book an appointment with you, our agent will first of all research and prospect everything about the person who has booked the appointment with you. And we are not collecting anything. We are not collecting their company name, LinkedIn URL, their domain, their website, nothing. Just name and email address, that's it. After that, our agent will enrich everything about the prospect and send us a detailed report into our Gmail. So once they book an appointment, the meeting is scheduled and now our agent will start executing. So let us click on refresh. Yeah, it is running right now. So let's wait for the result. It will send out a detailed report to our email address. So as you can see, meeting preparation report. So we have the general information, which is name and email address that has been given by the prospect. But after that, our agent will find out the company, their website, their LinkedIn URL. So if you open this, if we open Acquisition X, this is their website. This is Suprava's LinkedIn account, their company information, for example, B2B marketing and lead generation, industry, main services, positioning and differentiation, key figures, company size of 2 to 10 employees, headquarters in San Francisco, founded in which year as well. After that, we have the latest news. For instance, if the company is coming up with something new updates or new acquisition, we will get detailed information about it. And as you can see, this report contains crucial information about Acquisition X and its co-founder Suprava Sabath. As you can see here, it was able to find out that Suprava Sabath is a co-founder and another co-founder is Divyanshi Sharma. So this is the result that you will get instantly once they book an appointment with you. Again, I will repeat, we will find out everything about their general information. So this will be personal level enrichment. After that, we are doing company level enrichment. And lastly, if there is any latest news, we will get that as well. Alright, so let us get started building this automation. So as you can see, we have break down our entire automation into 3 different sub workflows. So it's essential for you to understand what is going on here. And even if you're not going to use this workflow inside your agency or for a business use case, please watch this video till the end because I have covered a lot of different LLM models, for example, OpenAI, Perplexity, Anthropic Claude, DeepSeek, everything in this example. After that, for company enrichment, for LinkedIn enrichment, I have covered a lot of different tools that we have not covered in this entire course. For instance, we are using Tapley, we are using Rapid APIs that we haven't used inside our previous lecture. So even if you're not going to use this sales call preparation agent inside your business or agency, I urge you to watch this lecture till the end because you will get familiarized or you will get introduced to new tools and new concepts. And as they say, in the war, if you have more tools, the chance of you winning in the war is much higher. Same goes inside N8N. If you are familiar with lot of tools and lot of concepts, you can build any automation and agent you have inside your mind. Alright, so let us get started. First of all, we need to go to our Blackboard, beam the lights. We have our sales call preparation agent. The first thing is the input or the trigger. It will trigger when the prospect will book an event or book a meeting with us. You can use cal.com, you can use Calendly, you can use Google Calendar, whatever you like. In this example, I am using cal.com. And this will be the input by the user. We will have their name and their email address only. Let me clear all of this and make it smaller. Alright, so we have only this information. We don't have their domain, we don't have their website or their LinkedIn URL. So after that, what we will do is, we will find out their domain or the website from their email address. For example, if I have input N8N@leadgenman.com, right? So that we can easily find out the domain or the website and the company name itself from the email address. So we don't want to ask that information here. So what we will do is, we will use OpenAI module or any LLM to fetch out the business name, which is lead gen man. We will say enterprise name. After that, we can also find out the website. So this will be the website. Alright, so from email, we are able to find out the company name and the domain. After that, we will take this information and fetch it out to our sub agents. So I will clear this example. So we will use LLM or OpenAI to get that basic information of company and domain. After we have that, we will build our agent. That agent will first of all analyze the website because we have the website data, right? So we have the name, email, we have the website, and we have the company name or enterprise name. So our first sub workflow will analyze website. Our second sub workflow will find out the LinkedIn and enrich that information. So find and research LinkedIn. And our last workflow will find out the latest company news by using Perplexity. And once we have all of this information, first, second, and third, then we will condense and compress all the crucial and important information and send it out to our Gmail. So this will be our main agent, and as you can see, we have divided into 3 sub workflows. So let us talk about those as well, like what we are doing in those sub workflows in a visual format. Let's start with the first one, which is analyze website data. So we have the website, right? We have the website, and what we are going to do is we are going to use Gina AI. By using Gina AI, we can literally scrape out everything from the website content. So we are going to use Gina AI. And once we scrape out everything by using Gina AI, we are going to use DeepSeek model, DeepSeek R1, to fetch out all the relevant information from that content that we got from Gina AI. Now let's talk about the second one, which is we need to first of all find out the LinkedIn URL, right? So how we are able to find out the LinkedIn URL? By using Tavly. Tavly is a software that allows us to search people on Google. For instance, if you want to find out everything about Simon Biles, so it will go to olympics.com, people.com, I don't know how to spell it. So what it will do is it will find out your existence everywhere on the web. For example, Reddit, blog post, your website, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter or X, wherever you are present, we will have all of that information by using Tavly. And once we have that information, we want to only retract our LinkedIn URL. So we will get the LinkedIn from here, and then we are going to use Rapid API to enrich our prospect LinkedIn. In the last lecture, if you can remember, we have used Nebula to enrich our prospect by the LinkedIn. 2 lectures earlier, we have used Apollo.io to enrich the prospect by the LinkedIn. In this example, we are using Rapid API. And my goal here is to show you various tools, for example, Rapid API, Nebula.co, Apollo.io, so that you are not just stuck only with one tool. And now let's talk about the last sub workflow, which is Perplexity. So this is going to be very simple one. What we are doing is, once we have this data, we are going to find out about the company news, or we are going to perform Google search by using Perplexity API. Awesome, so that's pretty much for our whiteboard. Now let us get started building this inside N8N interface. I will see you there. Hi everybody, we are back. So before we get started, this workflow will be in the resource section, so make sure to check it out and open 4 different new workflows inside your N8N account. First for our main agent and 3 rest for our sub workflows. Alright, so let us get started. I have renamed my agent as sales call preparation. The first node will be obviously the trigger one. Once a prospect will book an appointment with us, either via Calendly or cal.com or Google Calendar, whatever that you want to use, feel free to use it. So that will be the trigger. Now how you can add Calendly or cal.com? They have basically apps inside N8N. So click on plus and search for cal.com or Calendly. In this example, I use cal.com inside my agency, so I am going to use cal.com, but you can use Calendly as well. Both have the same integration. I will show you. So let's use cal.com, and once the booking is created, it will trigger this automation. So cal.com account, click on API and then enter your API key here. So go to cal.com, click on settings, click on API keys and create your API key and then paste it here. That's all you need to do, and wait for this message, connection tested successfully. So I have successfully created my cal.com account inside N8N. Same goes for Calendly. So again click on plus and search for Calendly. Same goes for Google Calendar as well. On event created. So go to Calendly, click on integration and apps, search for API or webhooks, this one. And then create new token, copy that, paste it here. That's all you need to do. Alright, so let us use cal.com for this example, and the event is booking created. Let us open our cal.com node and let us listen for test event or test step. Yeah, and let us book a demo or a fake meeting. Let us use Adam Robinson this time. So I think his email will be adam@rb2b.com. It should be right? So I hope this email exists because I am making this email up. So let us test that email. Yeah, it exists. It is safe. And then click on confirm. Why we are doing this? Because we need some payload here. That's why. The meeting is scheduled. Now we will have the payload in the output. As you can see, trigger event, the name. This is our name, organizer name. But we want the attendee's name, which is Adam Robinson, and the email is adam@rb2b. Alright, so we have this data. Now what we need to do is, by using email address, we need to find out the domain and the website. That's why we are going to use OpenAI for that. And what we are doing is, we are messaging OpenAI or ChatGPT, you need to do this, which is extract domain and the company name from the email address. So the resource is obviously text, and we are messaging the model, we are messaging OpenAI. That's pretty simple, right? Select whatever model that you like. For example, I'm using GPT-4. And in the prompt, what we are trying to say is, you are an intelligent assistant designed to analyze meeting participant information and enrich the data based on their email address. And what it needs to provide is this response, which is the name, email, domain, and the company name. And this is the input that it can use, which is the name and the email that we have received from our prospect. This is one I am referring to. So how you can input this thing? Just simply drag and drop here, like this. Alright, that's pretty much it. And scroll down, and we want to output the content as JSON. Why? Because we want to fed this information to our next agent in the sequence. And we don't want to use any tools. That's pretty okay. Let us click on test tab. Alright, so we got into the error. This model, which is ChatGPT 4o, does not provide JSON object. My bad, so we will change the model. I think 4o mini does have JSON object inside it. So let us click on test tab. But before that, what we need to do is, we can also pin this data, so that we have this payload always there. Click on pin data, so that we can use this data again and again inside our agent. And click on test tab. Awesome, and as you can see, it is successfully able to find out the domain and the name from the email itself. Now we have the name, email, company name, and the domain. Now in the prompt, what we need to give prompt is, we need to give this information, the full name, the email, the domain, and the enterprise name. So just simply type the full name is, and drag and drop this field here. Let us expand this, right? Then we have email, then the domain, and the enterprise. And now we need to send out system field prompt to our LLM that we are going to use here, which is ChatGPT 4o or Anthropic, whatever you like. So the system message will be, let us expand or open this, let us clear this, and we are going to write this lengthy prompt. Again, you don't have to come up with this prompt on your own. This will be in the resource section, so make sure to check it out. But what we are trying to say here is very important. You have this data, which is full name, email, company name, and domain, and you have these tools at your disposal. Tools basically means the sub workflows that we are going to create later on. So we are going to create website analyzer, LinkedIn research, and Perplexity. Combine all of this information and generate a report in this format. So we have the general information, company information, and the latest news. You might have recognized this exact format that we have received when Suprava has booked an appointment with us. This one, right? The same emojis. So this is the detailed prompt, and we are giving specific instruction, for example, do's and don'ts. Yeah, that's pretty much it for our agent. And then let us connect the chat model. In this example, I'm going after OpenAI. I'm using 4o. Let us go back to our lead enrichment agent. And in this example, we are not adding any memories because it is not needed. So why we use memory is, let's say you have chat with your AI agent once, and after you are chatting for the second time, you want to remember the first conversation. That's where you will add memories. But in this example, it's like one shot. We have this lead data and it will find out everything. We don't want to use this data again in the second conversation flow. That's why we are not going to use or add any memory. Now in tools, we are going to add 3 sub workflows, as I mentioned earlier. So we are going to call another N8N workflow. Select this one. Let us name this workflow as website analyzer, and the description will be, call this tool to analyze specific website URL. Send it the URL needed to analyze only. So what it will do is, it will not send out everything, right? It will only send out the URL, which is domain. And then we will select the workflow from here. Same goes for our second tool. Call another N8N workflow. Let's name it as LinkedIn Research Tool, and for description, call this tool to get the LinkedIn research on the lead. Send the name of the lead and his company name. Their company name. And for the last tool, which is Perplexity, we can say call this tool to analyze exact information on web around the company. Send exact company title to this tool. So it will only send the company name or the enterprise name. Awesome, so we have these 3 workflows. So let us rename this. The first workflow will be analyze website, second will be research LinkedIn, and last Perplexity. It will obviously show error because we haven't connected our workflows yet. So create 3 different workflows, 3 new separate workflows inside your N8N account. Make sure to save your workflows. I have renamed my second workflow as research website, and the first node obviously will be execute this workflow when our main workflow will execute. So search for execute sub workflow and use the trigger one only when executed by another workflow. Another workflow in our example is this main agent, and we need to accept all data. We don't want to filter out anything. Next, what we will have in this example is, so if we open this and let us select, and here let us select our sub workflow, which is sales call prep research website. And what we are telling to our agent is send the URL only to analyze further to our sub workflow. So what it will do is it will send out only this information, which is rb2b.com. So what we need to do is we need to use edit fields to add www. or add https.rb2b.com. So I will show you. So search for edit fields, and again nothing too crazy. All we are doing is we are just adding http and then adding the URL, which in our example is rb2b.com. Let's name our field as URL and type in the value https.json.query. This we will get from this node. Next, we are going to perform deep research by using Gina AI. So search for Gina AI and get your API key from here. It is really cool website to analyze all the content on the website. That's why we are using Gina AI and not Perplexity. And how we are going to use Gina AI is by sending out the HTTP request. Search for HTTP request. Let's rename it to Gina AI Research. And this is what we are going to use in the URL. Don't worry about this, you will get this URL and everything in the workflow. For API key, we want to send in headers, authorization, bearer, and then paste your API key. You can use my API key as well, because just screenshot this because I'm not paying it and it's free. So you can use my API key, but don't overuse it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All you need to do is just add your API key and this URL. And once we have that data, we are going to feed that data to DeepSeek model to analyze and retrieve only crucial information. Therefore, we are going to use basic LLM chain. And for model, we are going to use DeepSeek. Search for DeepSeek. You can use OpenAI as well. I'm just showing you different options. And how you can add your API key? Just go to DeepSeek, API. Open this first site. Click on apply for an API key. It will open up this interface and then create an API key. Copy that API key and paste it here. That's all you need to do. So we have connected our DeepSeek account, and for source of the prompt, we will define below, which we will get from Gina AI. So what we will get from Gina AI is $JSON and the data. This is what we will get from Gina AI. And for prompt, this is going to be a lengthy one. So let's open this. So what we are telling our DeepSeek model is to fetch out everything from the research that we will get from Gina AI. Alright, again don't worry about this prompt. I have defined it like thorough and detailed manner so that our DeepSeek LLM won't make any mistake. And I'm not explaining this entire prompt like one by one because it will make this lecture unnecessarily lengthy. And lastly, we want to send out this information back to our main agent that we have built here, lead enrichment agent. So we can simply just edit the fields. So we can name this as response, and the value we will get is obviously in the expression, the one that we will get from DeepSeek model. This is what you will get, which is from basic LLM and the response. Awesome, so we are done with our first sub workflow. Now it's time to look into Research LinkedIn. To show you the execution of our first sub workflow, let us open this. So this is what we will get in the query from our main agent, which is the name or the domain, which is acquisition.pro, And why we are using HTTP or why we are adding that is because to add it in form of a URL. We will feed this URL to Gina AI and we will get all of this data. It will literally scrape everything on acquisitionx.pro. And then we are feeding that data that we get from Gina AI to our DeepSeek model to format it in a structured format, right? So this is the structured format and this is the one that we got from Gina AI. As you can see, this is the input. From where we are getting the input is from HTTP request 1 or Gina AI. And this is the answer. And this is just simply we are renaming the text to response. That's it. Alright, now let us go to our second workflow. I have named this as Research LinkedIn. And the first node obviously will be execute by another workflow. We want to accept all data. Let us go back to our main agent and let us connect this sub workflow here. Select your sub workflow in my example, which is Research LinkedIn. Oops, I haven't changed the name to 3. Third one, which is Research LinkedIn. So what we are telling in the description is just send out the lead name and their company name. That's it. Because we don't have their LinkedIn, right? So by using Tapley, we are able to find out their LinkedIn. Again, we have to do edit fields just like we did in our research website to add that LinkedIn URL. Search for edit fields. I will show you what if you don't understand what I'm talking about. So in the value, click on expression and type json.query. This is what we will get from our main agent. And we are just simply adding the site.linkedin.com. So I will show you the example of Suprava. So if we open this, as you can see, this is the query, Suprava and AcquisitionX. Now what we will do is we will add Suprava, AcquisitionX and then type in site.linkedin.com. So it will perform Google search accordingly to it. Now it's time to introduce Tavly. So go to Tavly, create your API key here. So how we are going to connect Tavly with our agent is by using HTTP request. So see, for instance, Tavly does not have app right inside N8N. We do have app of cal.com or Calendly. That's why we can easily search just for the name, which is cal.com, and we are able to find out. But if we if we search for Tavly, we won't have any app. That's why in order to connect both of these software together, we use HTTP request. Again, nothing too crazy. By using HTTP request, we allow both of these applications talk with each other. The method will be post this time and this will be the URL. Again, I'm not making this thing up out of thin air. I have read the documentation so that you don't have to. And we can actually add the API inside the body itself. So enable the body option and using JSON. Click on expression, open it, and we are going to use this response. So it is given in the documentation. This is my API key. You can use my API key if you don't want to create your Tavly account. And this is the query that we will get. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's all you need to do. And to show you the output of what we will get from Tavly, let us go back. Yeah, so this was the only information that we give to Tavly, and it is able to find out literally everything about the prospect and prospect's company. Right, so this is the prospect information and this is the company information. Now the problem is we don't have this in a structured format. We cannot use this response. So we have to introduce code for it so that we fetch out only relevant information. So search for code and we are going to use this JavaScript code. Again, I haven't written this code on my own. I have used Anthropic Claude for it. I have used ChatGPT also, but it seems that ChatGPT is busy with image generation and not actually solving important problem. So that's why Claude is actually the best if you are dealing with code or low code no code solution. So what this code will do is it will grab all the LinkedIn URL that it is able to find out from the research or from Tavly. Alright, so we have got 3 LinkedIn URL here. Now we need to aggregate these 3 LinkedIn URL in one. So we are going to use aggregate. We can say LinkedIn URL. This is just giving the name of the input. And here's what aggregate node will do. It will just aggregate all of these 3 into one. After that, we are assigning OpenAI to find out the best and to find out the possible LinkedIn URL of that prospect. Search for OpenAI and we want to send a message to the model. And for the prompt, we can say click on expression, expand it. So what we are trying to say here is you will get this information. You will get 3 URLs or whatever type of URLs, and you have to find out the best possible URL that is prospect URL. So in this example, we have these 3, right? Or we have different, for example, we have the GitHub, we have the blog, we have the Twitter. We only want to find out their LinkedIn URL. So let us go to the answer, and here you can see we have these 3 URL, and it will find out the only relevant URL, that is Suprava's LinkedIn account. So if you open this, we have Suprava's LinkedIn account, because we have these 3, right? First LinkedIn URL is Acquisition X, or the company's LinkedIn URL. Second is her account, and the third is the activity. Activity basically means if she did any post. If you open it, yeah, so this is the post that she just did like 1 day ago. So we need her LinkedIn account only, and not this post LinkedIn URL. That's why we are using this OpenAI node to find out only relevant LinkedIn URL. And we can also send a message to the system. For instance, select system, and we can say you are a helpful URL link analyzer. Awesome, so that's pretty much all you need to do. And next we will use Rapid API to enrich about prospect by using the LinkedIn. So see, we have their LinkedIn, right? And now it's time to further enrich about the prospect. So what it will do is it will find out everything about our prospect from the LinkedIn data. So just log in or sign up with the account. And in order to connect Rapid APIs with our N8N server workflow, we are going to use HTTP request. Let us rename to LinkedIn Enrichment by Rapid API. This is the URL that we will use. Again, it is from documentation. I'm not making this out of thin air. Next, we need to send out the query parameters of what we want to find out from the LinkedIn URL. So obviously we have to give the LinkedIn URL or the input. So this is the LinkedIn URL. We are saying, hey Rapid API, this is the LinkedIn URL. You need to find out this thing. You need to find out their skills, their certification. So if the value is true, it will find out that. If the value is false, it won't find out that. So as you can see, we don't want to find out any publication. So we have set the value to false. Alright, so I have added literally everything. And this is my Rapid API key and the value. You can use my value. So you can simply just screenshot it. For example, screenshot this. Go to Claude or ChatGPT and say extract all the values from the image using OCR. So copy this, copy the value, copy this, copy the value, and paste it inside headers. Alright, headers is basically making sure that we are the right person to make this call and we have the proper authentication. So what it will do is it will enrich the prospect from the LinkedIn account. To show you the results, this is what we will get. So first of all, it will enrich the prospect's company. In this example, which is Acquisition X, their location, their company description, literally everything that we have inputted in our queries. Awesome. So we have this data and we are done with our second sub workflow. Now it's time to look into the last sub workflow, and again it is going to be very short. Don't worry about it. To save you some time, I have already made the workflow. Obviously the first node will be execute when another workflow. So we need to connect it here. And what we are telling in the description is send the exact company title only. So by using Perplexity, it will perform Google search and find out about company news or company latest updates. Yup, if we open our Perplexity node, let us open our credentials. What you need to do is authorization, and then in value type bearer space and then paste your API key in the value and not in the name, right? Click on save. And in JSON, what we are telling is search for the latest news in English about this company. This is the query that we will get from the first node. That's pretty much it. It's nothing too crazy here. And then if success, if it is able to find out any latest news, it will go to this node, which is the response. And if it is not able to find out anything, it will say an error has occurred, try again. Or we can say no information found, please try again, something like it. Alright, so we are configured with our entire workflow. It's time to test it out. Click on save. And then let us test our workflow by using this input data, which is Adam Robinson. And yeah, sorry, I forgot, we need to send this information to our Gmail or to whatever place that you want to send out. So select the operation of send a message, and this is the output that we will get from this main agent. Alright, let us save this. Alright, so it's time to test our workflow. I have put all of these sub workflows in our main workflow. And now let us go to our cal.com. Let us book a demo. Let us book a random event with Adam Robinson. Now, if we click on execution, click on refresh, it is executing our workflow. So let us wait for the results. We will get a detailed report of our lead and their company. Awesome. So it is able to find out the name, the email address, the company, the website, the LinkedIn profile of that person, the LinkedIn legend, right? Adam Robinson, their company, and the latest news. Awesome. So by using this type of sales call preparation agent, you can save so much of your time in researching and prospecting about the person that you are going to meet in the meeting. That's all from my side, and again this workflow will be in the resource section, so make sure to check it out. Bye bye, take care, and I will see you in the next one. This is what we are going to build in today's lecture, which is an ultimate company research workflow. So what we are doing first of all is we are going to a testimonial or review site, in our example Trustpilot, and then we are analyzing are they positive or negative reviews. Then we are going to their website or domain, and then we are collecting all the web data, again putting all of this information back to a text extractor. After that, we are using Proxical to find out more about their company LinkedIn profile. For example, the founded year, the number of employees, industry, etc. etc. And once we have all of this data together, we are adding simply to our Google Sheet. So this is the result. So all you need to do is just enter the website, and then you will have this entire company enrichment in this sheet. The name, the company website, the company reviews. Zomato is a very famous company in India. It is a food delivery company. So we have negative sentiment, again customer support is also negative, so that we can analyze, is this company good in real life or not? Because in website or web page, everyone say like we are the best. For example, we are the #1 food delivery app. But what are the customers' sentiment? For example, positive or negative? Then we have key offering, online food delivery and restaurant discovery. Then products and services, target audience, unique values, competitive advantage, company culture. In this example, we are not able to find it. That's why it is not available, or NA. And then the achievement. Then for the mission statement is vision better food for more people. We have scraped this data from the LinkedIn. Number of followers, company about us page on LinkedIn, company industry, company size, company headquarters, and the founded year. We have so many additional data points as well, but I'm not adding all of those because I think these are the vital ones that we need. Alright, so let's build this workflow from scratch, and I will see you inside N8N interface. But first, let us go back to our Blackboard to understand the flow of this entire workflow. First of all, our initial input or the initial data. All we need is just the website, and if we want to have their company LinkedIn URL, we can add that. So this is your input, website plus company LinkedIn URL. And once we have this data, what we are doing is we are going to Trustpilot. You can use any testimonial or review site. I'm using Trustpilot. And we will scrape all of these reviews by using Firecall API. Firecall API is basically we can curl or we can scrape the website page or web content of any URL. Then once we have this data, we are feeding to an basic LLM chain. So basically it will summarize are those negative reviews or positive reviews. Once we have that information, we want to actually go to the website or the web page of that company, and we want to scrape data by using that. Here you can use Firecall again, but I just want to show you another example, which is Gina AI. To be honest, I love using Gina AI inside my workflows, and we are literally scraping everything on the website or the web page. And again, we are using text extractor to extract the relevant information that we are looking after from Gina AI enrichment. And then we are using nebula.co or Proxical to scrape data from their company LinkedIn profile. And then once we have this relevant or important information that we are looking after, we will add this data to our Google Sheet. Alright, so this is our flow of our entire workflow. This is how we are going to build inside N8N. I will see you there. Alright, so let's rename our workflow as Ultimate Company Research. Same goes for our Google Sheet. So in the input, I'm only using the website and the LinkedIn profile of that company. And even if you don't have the LinkedIn profile of that company, it is very easy to find out this LinkedIn profile by using Nebula. But to save some time, I'm not showing you that process because we have actually covered in some of our previous lecture. And then for output, so we have created two sheets. First sheet for input and the second for output. So we are collecting the name, website reviews, business profile, followers, and etc. etc. Alright, so create these two sheets. And for trigger node, we want to run it manually. And the first input is from Google Sheet. So we will search Google Sheet. And what we are doing here is we want to get the rows from our Google Sheet. So select this option, get rows in sheets. Then select your sheet. In our example, Ultimate Company Research, and sheet number 1, which is company list. And we need to have some payload so that we can play around. So let's test tab. Awesome. So we have the output, row number, website, and the LinkedIn URL. Now next thing we want to do is we want to go to Trustpilot, and then we want to scrape data by using Firecall API. So we can combine both of this operation, first which is going to Trustpilot, and second is going to using Firecall API to scrape this data into just one HTTP single request node. And let's rename to Trustpilot Reviews. And what we are doing here is we are just adding simply the company name at the end of this URL. And this URL is of Trustpilot/reviews. For example, if you want to know the Amazon review, so let's go to Trustpilot/review/amazon.com. And yeah, unfortunately, we have very poor sentiment or poor reviews about Amazon. But yeah, I hope you got my point. So we will be doing the same for our example, which is Zomato, from our list. Yeah, so we have the reviews here. So as you can understand, we will just use this URL, and for the company name, it will be variable. So it will be always changing as per the company we have inside our Google Sheet. But first of all, we need to go to Firecall. So go to firecall.dev, sign up or log in with your account, because we need the API to crawl the data from that Trustpilot review page. Yeah, so by using Firecall, we will scrape all of this data, and then we will feed this data to an LLM model like OpenAI, Anthropic Claude, to summarize it, are they positive or negative reviews. So let's go back to Firecall, copy your API key, and even if you're not able to find your API key here, just go to here, API keys, copy it. Let's go back to our N8N. Yeah, but first of all, let us open the documentation to see how we can connect our Firecall API key inside our N8N HTTP request. So go to API reference, and what we want to do is we want to scrape data. So let's go to scrape, and yeah, as you can see here, the method is post. So let's open this. The method is post, and this is the URL. So copy the URL. Let us go back to N8N and paste it here inside URL, and method is post. Thereafter, for authentication or our API key, we have to add it inside headers. So it is authorization, bearer, space, and then our API key. We can also add that inside generic credential also. Click on header auth, and let's add new credential of Firecall API key. In name, we have to add authorization. Copy it, paste it here, and in value, bearer. So I'm using expression so that you guys can see it, bearer then space. Let's go back to Firecall, copy this code and paste it here. It should look something like this. Then click on save, and tada, you have connected your Firecall API key inside your N8N HTTP request. After that, as you can see inside header, we also have to add content type, which is application/JSON. So let's copy this. Let's go back to N8N, and since it was headers, here you can see it was inside headers. We have to enable the header in the name, which is content type, and the value, which is application/JSON. Thereafter, we have body. So let's go back to Firecall documentation. So here is actually data. Yeah. So here we can add inside body. So the thing we need to add is the URL, and we have to simply paste the URL. For example, this one here. So enable this body, and in name, we have to add URL. Copy this, paste it here, and in value, it will be obviously expression, because it will be changing every single time for each company inside our Google Sheet. So go to expression, and we will simply just copy this, which is trustpilot.com/reviews. And for our company variable, we will use that input from that Google Sheet. Yeah, so www.trustpilot.com/reviews, and for website, just drag and drop after this slash. Awesome. So here we have zomato.com. Yeah, that's pretty much all we need to do. So let's test our step. And here we go. We have the entire content all the reviews. For example, I am yet to receive my money back. It's untrusty company. So as you can see, it is scraping out all of these reviews. We have the entire review here. Awesome. So that's what we needed, right? And next, what we want to do is we want to move this data to an OpenAI LLM model and say, hey, analyze this. For example, are there positive reviews or negative reviews? But the problem will be, so if we go to schema, we have all of this thing, right? So we cannot add all of this thing inside our ChatGPT model because the credit will be much higher and it will just hallucinate or confuse. So the thing that we are looking after is only this thing, which is inside the markdown. We don't want to add Twitter or OG URL, OG type, etc, etc. So what we will do by using edit field node is we will just only use this information. So let us add edit field and let's manually map it. So we want to map this information only for the rest of our workflow. I hope you understand my point. I don't want to add all of this irrelevant thing. I only want to use this information. And we can say as it is inside data, and we can also include them inside metadata. Let's say if we scroll down, we can add this inside OG title. So dot OG title. Let us click on test tab. So if we go to JSON, awesome. So that's what we needed. Inside metadata, we have OG title and we don't have anything extra from here. And the next thing we want to do is we can feed this data to an ChatGPT model, but in order to minimize our OpenAI credits, awesome. So that's what we needed, which is our OG title inside metadata and data. And it only includes this markdown and not any of these extra irrelevant or unnecessary things. Now we can add this information to ChatGPT model, but the thing will be it will consume too much credits and it will likely to hallucinate because it is a huge prompt, right? We can use an regexec function or JavaScript code in order to only scrape the rating of the review, the title of the review, the description or the summary of the review, and the date of that review. So search for code node and we are going to use this code. Again, I haven't tried a single line of this code. I have used ChatGPT model to come up with this code. So if we click on test tab, as you can see, it has formatted in much better way. So this was our input. So if we go to JSON, so this is our input that we have got from edit fields. And it has formatted into this beautiful manner, which is company, total reviews, and the trust code, which is 1, and each reviews. For example, the title, content, and the experience date. So if we look at this review, this is the title, the worst application in the world, the description of the content, and the experience or the review date. Awesome. So we can input this information to ChatGPT model, so there is no chance of hallucination or wrong response. For that, let's use a basic LLM model. We don't want to use AI agent here. Again, there is a difference between using a basic LLM model and AI model because we don't want to throttle our workflow simply by using AI agent because there is no need of AI agent here. That's why even simple LLM chain model will work just fine. So let's define our prompt below. Let us open in the big screen. So we can say we have the company name and we can use or drag and drop the company name from here. Then we have the reviews. For reviews, we can use this one and we can say I want the output in this specific format. So we can say accepted output. So let's use the company name and we can say customer review survey or summary. And this is the overall prompt, which is overall company feedback, product sentiment analysis, positive or negative, and key improvements. Yeah, that's it. And let's connect our OpenAI chat model from here. Click on plus, search for OpenAI chat model. Connect your OpenAI account and I think ChatGPT 4o mini will work just fine. And now let's click on test tab. Awesome. So we have the Zomato customer review summary. So the overall company feedback is extremely negative with only 1.2 out of 5 based on 862 reviews. And all of this, for example, on food delivery services, negative sentiment, on customer service, again negative sentiment. So we will use this data and add this inside our Google Sheet. And let's rename this node as Trust Pilot Review Analyzer. Let's go back. And now we want to actually go to the website, which is zomato.com, and we want to scrape data from there. So we are going to use Gina AI. You can use Firecall AI as well, but I want to show you different examples on scraping the web content or web pages. So we can use this. So go ahead and log in or sign up with your account and get your API key. And how we are going to connect Jina AI inside our N8N by using HTTP node. Inside Jina AI documentation, the method is get, and for URL. So what we are doing here is we are just simply going to Jina AI and then adding our website. For example, if I want to scrape data of N8N.com, I will simply use this, which is my website. So let's replace this from the company website. Awesome. And let's add our API key of Jina AI. So enable these headers. And for name, it is authorization, and for value, it is bearer and then your API key. So if I open it, you can use my API key as well. Just screenshot this. Bearer space and then your Jina API key. And now let's test our step. So here we have the entire data from Zomato.com. So let's visit this. So basically Jina AI will scrape all of this data from this web page as well as from sub pages. Awesome. So we have this data here. Now we want to extract this information by using information extractor. So use this. Here we have to add a lot of prompts. So first of all, let us rename this to website analysis. And for prompt, let us click on expression. And this is the prompt that I am using, which is go to this website and format the output in this structure. Company basic, what does the company do, their business overview, product and offering, etc. etc. So this is the entire prompt. Again, you don't have to write this prompt on your own. It will be in the research section. So make sure to check it out. Also, we can add our specific schema. For example, let's define below. So let's remove all of this and we can use the schema that we have used here. This one. After that, let us define the system field prompt from the options. So I'm just using this default one, and then let's connect our OpenAI model. So we can simply just connect it from here. Awesome. Let us click on save. Let's do one thing. Let's pin all of this data so we don't waste our Firecall API key as well as Jina AI API key. Let's pin this as well. And let's test this step. Awesome. So we have the output in the specific schema that we have defined here. The company name, industry, the headquarters, website. See, we haven't found it the headquarters area or location. We haven't found it here. So that's why we have to use their LinkedIn company URL in order to find out the number of employees found it here, headquarters, etc. etc. Yeah, so it has like actually given out all of the content that we are looking after. For example, the company culture, marketing position, the key features, products and survey. So we can also pin this data. After that, we want to go to the company LinkedIn URL and scrape all the available data that they have. That's why we are going to use nebula.co. So this is the node that we have already built in some of our previous lecture. So I'm not building it again, but I will explain what we are doing here. So by using this nebula.co or proxy call, let's execute previous node to get some data. Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to just simply add their company LinkedIn URL from our Google Sheets to here and connect your nebula.co API key here. Will be authorization and inside value bearer space your API key. Yeah, that's pretty much all you need to do. You don't need to add any headers, queries or bodies. And let's test this step. Alright, so we have the company description, the founded year, company type, company size on LinkedIn, all of this thing that we actually needed. Their follower count, their last LinkedIn post, etc. etc. So let's add all of this data to Google Sheet. So when this loop is done, and why we are adding the loop here, because nebula.co has some API limits. So let's say we are scraping 500 companies at a single time, it will hit an API limit. That's why we are adding a wait of 5 seconds. So once this loop is done, we want to add this data back to our Google Sheet number 2, which is this scrape data and all of these particular columns. So what we want to do is we want to append a row here. Let's select our Google Sheet, and this time sheet number 2, which is scrape data. So for company name, then for company website, and for company review, we have actually summarized all the reviews. So if we go to, this one, Trustpilot Review Analyzer. So we can add this here. So it's basically a summary of all the reviews. Then for the business profile, which is their company LinkedIn URL. And for company business profile, here where the fun begins. So let us click on expression and let's open it. So first of all, let's add the company description that we have found. From website analysis. So we can use this description. After that, we want to add key offerings, online food delivery and restaurant discovery. So we can say key offerings and let's add it. Then next, for products and services, let's add it there. Then the target audience. Same goes for unique values, 800 plus cities, 3 billion plus order delivered. Then their company culture. In this example, it was not able to find out any, but most of the time, a lot of companies have this data on their website. So we are going to just add it here. And we can say in the code, if you're not able to find out or if this value is none, say not available. And lastly, achievements. So this is actually a pretty important column that we will add inside our Google Sheet. So it contains all the things like a deep research of the company in this column. Then for the company LinkedIn extract, and we can use unique value proposition. And for company followers on LinkedIn, okay, so we don't have it here. I think we will have inside. Let's search for followers. So we have it here. So just drag and drop here. For company industry, we can go to website analysis and here we have the industry. And now we don't have the founded year as well as the headquarter and the company size. So we have this data from Get Company Infos or from nebula.co. So here is the company headquarter, which is city, the country. We have the founded year here. And for the company size, basically number of employees working at this company. So we should be able to find it here. And so we have the company size on LinkedIn here. Awesome. So it's time to run our workflow. Let us click on test workflow. And there we go. Here is our data. The company name, company website, company review, their about us page, number of followers, founded years, and the company headquarters. Awesome. Alright, so that's all from my side and I hope you found this valuable. Again, this workflow will be in the resource section, so make sure to check it out. And if you have any question, do let me know. My DMs are always open. Bye bye, take care, and I will see you in the next one. This is what we are going to build in today's lecture, which is an clay alternative or clay killer for finding out company technology and tech stack. See, we have a bunch of company domains and we want to find out every technology that they are using. So we will simply just run this workflow. Let us wait for this workflow to finish. And we are done. As you can see, I have listed my website, our acquisition website, and it is able to find out literally everything. I have hosted my domain on GoDaddy about the hosting and servers, content management, analysis, and other technologies. Now the interesting part here is if we compare this workflow with our clay pricing or our clay table, clay usually charge around 4 credits for finding out the company tech stack, full and every company tech stack that we just did, like hosting servers, content management, and other technologies. But if we look at clay pricing, here you can see for a monthly plan of starter, which is around like $150, that gives us around 2000 credits. So here you can see if we are finding out, let's say, if we have 2000 credits and we are dividing by 4. So we are only able to find out 500 companies and we just burn around like $150. But by using this workflow, maximum to maximum only like $9 to $10 you will burn, like maximum. So that's the beauty of using N8N, and basically literally everything that you are using inside clay, you can build the exact workflow in N8N. You just need to come up with creativity and do some trial and error and you will find your way inside N8N. So again, this is an clay killer lecture. So let us start from scratch where I will show you how we are brainstorming this process. We are going to literally build every node at a time. Alright, let us get started. The first node will be obviously a trigger node. In this example, we are forcefully triggering this workflow. That's why I will say trigger manually. The next node that we will add inside N8N will obviously Google Sheet node, because we want to source the company domain that we like to find out the company tech stack. I hope this makes sense. So search for Google Sheet. and we are getting the rows. Select your Google Sheet account and your Google Sheet, company domain and sheet 1. So we have this company domain, right? Let us open this company domain. And I want to find out everything about this company, like where is the server, where is the hosting, where is the content management system, from where domain has been bought, like Cloudflare, GoDaddy, etc, etc. So the interesting part here is if we just simply copy this website and add with built with URL. So if you don't know what is built with, let us open built with. So built with is a SAS that allows us to find out technology lookup. The crazy thing here is if we just simply add our website, which is N8N, like this, we can say www.leadgenman. It will find out everything about our website. Like it is hosted on high level. I'm using Go High Level for hosting my website. I'm using this framework, literally everything. Yeah, I'm using PayPal as well. Awesome. And it also knows like I have connected my Instagram and LinkedIn with my Go High Level. So what we can do is we can just literally scrape this content from built with by using Gina AI. So search for Gina AI. Gina AI is right now the best available tool to scrape web page content. So what we will do is we will use Gina AI to scrape our built with this web page. And this will be obviously changing for each website. For example, Acquisition Pro, Vapi, RetailAIClay.com. So it will automatically change. In this example, it is N8N. Next, it will go for Acquisition X Pro. Then it will go for Clay, Vapi, etc, etc. I hope this makes sense. Again, what we are doing is we are using built with. What is built with? Built with is a SAS that allows us to look up technology, right? So what we are doing is we are just simply adding a website after the builtwith.com website. And we have this data, right? Now to source this data, we will use Gina AI. To scrape this data or scrape this web page of built with, we will use Gina AI. That's pretty much it. And if you compare the pricing of Gina AI, like it is literally pennies. For example, if you are paying $150 each month to Clay just for scraping only 500 company website lookup, it's like $5 to $10 maximum. So that's the beauty of Gina AI. So let us go back to our workflow. And to source Gina AI, how we will do that? Obviously by calling HTTP request. Search for HTTP. The method will be get, and for URL, let us go to Gina AI and copy this URL. Let us paste it here. Awesome. So we have it right now, Gina.ai. Next, what I was saying was, we will just simply add this built with and then the domain. Alright, so just remove this HTTPS. Yeah, GinaAI/builtwith.com/ the website. But this will be changing from each website, right? We are not hard coding the value of N8N. We want to change from every single one of the website. So click on expression and let us execute our previous node. So let us remove this domain and we want to consider it as a variable. So just simply drag and drop company domain here. For example, you can see our second row is clay.com. So it will say GinaAI/builtwith.com/clay.com. And if we test this step, yeah, so first of all, we need to add the authentication. So let us add our API key and then paste your API key. Bearer space Gina. And if you don't want to create your Gina AI API key, you can simply use my API key as well. It's on me. So type bearer, click on space and then paste this API key. Yeah, that's pretty much. Again, I will explain what we are doing here is we are scraping this built with web page or web content by using Gina AI. So let us test this step. Awesome. As you can see, clay.com technology profile on built with. So Gina AI literally scrape out everything that was available on built with web page. I hope this makes sense. Awesome. So we are done with it. But what we want to do is we want to loop it from every single one of the domain. And we cannot feed in 500 companies one time to Gina AI because it will hit the API limit. That's why we have to enter loop. So let us add a loop here, search for loop. And we want to proceed it one by one. Like we are not in a rush. So let us add the loop. Let us delete this. Now let us open our HTTP request of Gina AI. We can say, first of all, let us rename it to technology sourcing. Now let's talk about the problem we will have with the output. We cannot understand this data, right? So we will use a basic LLM model to scrape out important company tech stack or company technology. So we can use a basic LLM model, search for basic one, and there is no need to add AI agent here. Understand, like there is a difference between a AI agent and a basic LLM. You don't want to overburden your AI agent with these simple workflows. Even basic LLMs like ChatGPT 4o will just work fine. So let us add model of our OpenAI. We can use ChatGPT 4o mini to save some credits. And for source of the prompt, we want to define it below. So we will just simply feed in this data. And we want to get the output in specific format. So enable this option and let us add our prompt to our model. We can say in the system message, analyze the received content and identify only the key technologies used by the company and format in this order: hosting servers, content management, so that we can easily drag and drop inside our Google Sheet. I hope this makes sense. It is nothing too crazy. It is just a simple prompt telling our AI model to format in specific output. That's pretty much it. Next, we can use our output parser to show our model in which format it should structure. So click on connect to an output parser and let us remove this JSON example and we can add our own JSON example. We can say we want in technologies, hosting server, CM and content management, analysis and tracking tool like we have in our Google Sheet. Right, I hope this makes sense. And next, all we need to do is we need to add this data into our Google Sheet back. So search for Google Sheet and what we are doing, we are updating that specific row. We are not adding anything new or we are not adding any row. We want to update in this specific row only. So search for update row, or we can use append or update row in a sheet. Let us select our Google Sheet. And yeah, column to match on will be company domain. Let us click on execute previous node. So we have data from our basic LLM. It is dividing into specific categories like hosting and servers. Clay is using all of this technology inside content management, analysis, security, and other technology. Yeah, but first of all, we need to add company domain, which is used for matching. Like we need to update on this specific row only and not anywhere else. That's why we need to use this matching field. So obviously the matching field will be our company domain. So just drag and drop company domain here. Awesome. Now let's talk about the hosting and servers. So we can just simply drag and drop here. But the problem will be your output will look something like this: array and then Amazon, Google, AWS. We don't want the output like this inside our Google Sheet. So what we will do is we will join all of this technology separated by comma. So simply type dot and then type join, open brackets, open quotation mark, click on comma and then enter space. So in the result you can see Amazon space Google space AWS space Fairflow, so that we can easily understand and we can easily skim and scan through the technology. Again, I'm nothing doing anything crazy. It is just adding dot join and we want to join by comma. That's pretty much it. For example, if we want to add plus to all of this, right? So type join, open brackets, quotation mark, plus and space. For example, HubSpot plus Hotjar plus Clearbit, etc. etc. Alright, I hope this makes sense. So this is how you can structure your output manually as well. Be a little smarter and not stupid. Another way to do is simply just add all of this field and then manually add comma one by one. But the thing will be, yeah, you can do this way as well. But let's say we have 50 technologies. I don't want you to manually add them one by one, separated by comma. That's why use join function to join all of this technology separated by comma. The reason I want to show you in this raw format is because I want you to understand how you can customize your workflow as per your business or use case. Because every business and enterprise is different. You won't be using this exact workflow. You need to make some tweaks and you need to make some changes. So if you know, like if you have this kind of basic understanding, you will be way better off than most of the people who are just simply exporting end-to-end workflows into their account. Let us connect this loop back to this loop position. That's pretty much it for our workflow. Let us save this and let us test this workflow. Right now it is in basic LLM chain. Yeah, so it will add one by one for Clay, then for retail. So for maximum $5 to $10, you can scrape out 500 companies as compared to Clay where you have to pay $150. Yeah, that's all from my side. And again, this workflow will be in the resource section, so make sure to check it out. Bye bye, take care, and I will see you in the next one.